up very quickly. Then, if you can jump in, you will jump in. We're going to do not war games, but what's next? So here we go. Let's go very quickly. Seth Rollins, AJ Styles. What do you see going for both of these guys?
Rematch.
No, AJ SmackDown. So for me, I feel like I'm going to give it to Leon here. He said that there are some feuds waiting for AJ on SmackDown. What I would like to see AJ do, even though the Bloodline aren't ready for a feud because they've got their own civil war going on, I want to see the OC become something. I want to see being around AJ once again mean. I'll be honest, when they all turned up on SmackDown, Mia Yim looked better than I've ever seen her. So I like visually, not I'm going to be that guy, but I would love to see her be something. I would like her to be the one to say, I'm going to bring the SmackDown title home. Go and chase Asuka, go and get that. I would like AJ to help elevate those guys. Same for Seth. I want to see Seth elevate. I don't want to see him lose the title just yet, but let's make some stars, Seth. That's your job now. Show us some contenders. The same way Roman has made people by going against them. I don't want to see like a 1,000-day run from Seth, but let's see it. Bring up your guys who have been NXT call-ups. Give us your Jonas. Give us, I keep calling him Jonah, Bronson Reed. Give us some stars who have been somewhere. Let's see it. I don't, with respect, want to see The Miz come in and we all know that he's cannon fodder. I want to see you make some stars. That's what I want from both of these guys.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well, actually. With the World Heavyweight title, at first I was thinking, see, here's the thing. There's what I want and what WWE are probably going to do. Now, I can, for some reason, see Seth Rollins. Oh, no, hang on. No, scrap that, because he's just been drafted to SmackDown, so that won't happen. So, yeah, forget that. What I hope that they don't do, which they seem to like doing, is this whole champion versus champion sort of thing. Because every time they do that, it takes the ability of someone having a match with either champion respectively, right? Seth Rollins, I want to see wrestlers that have not had those world title shots, that have not had those number one contender shots, have that shot. It doesn't necessarily mean that we know who's going to win, especially if you build them up right. But yeah, I want to see, like, as you lot said, new stars being created, new angles being created as well. Whatever path Seth goes on, it's going to be to make the brand great in terms of Raw. So hopefully the next opponents that Seth gets, there'll be very interesting matches. Hopefully, like the AJ Styles match he had, maybe it'll be Finn Balor, maybe it will be Damian Priest. Oh no, they're on SmackDown, aren't they? Jesus.
So is the champion.
Hold on, it's Judgment Day on Raw.
Champion's Raw.
Judgment Day on Raw.
No, sorry, Seth Rollins. What I'm talking about is I was just saying that Seth could have a match with Finn Balor, but Finn Balor's on SmackDown, isn't he?
No, he's Raw. He's Raw.
Is he Raw? Okay. But then I stand by what I said then. Like, to have great matches like that are down the line, and they make for good shows, good wrestling, good stories, good everything. In terms of AJ Styles, I think his first match is going to be with Grayson Waller, purely because he predicted that Seth was going to win. So, come this Friday, he will probably be one of the first people to get in AJ's face to say, I told you so, which is going to amalgamate into a match. That'll be his first feud. His second, I know Karrion Kross will probably be in lurking somewhere around there as well. So if he beats Grayson Waller, Karrion will be his next opponent, or he's the cause for him losing against Grayson Waller. But I think AJ is going to have a very busy schedule for the next couple of months, starting with those two wrestlers.
Do you know what? I think you've actually nailed it there for AJ, because it just takes one match. Karrion Kross costs him the match. Waller just keeps walking around like, I'm the big thing on SmackDown. Do you remember the guy who built SmackDown? Yeah. SmackDown, the house that AJ Styles built? I beat him. AJ's not even concerned about what he's chatting. He's in a feud with Karrion Kross. Very good shout. I like that.
Who's that guy that goes, yeah?
The Street Profits.
No.
Oh, LA Knight.
LA Knight, what happened to him?
They tried to tag him up with Boogs. They didn't beat the Street Profits, and LA Knight turned on him.
My reason for us, LA Knight's a heel. Is he on Raw?
He's on SmackDown.
Oh, my reason for saying that is, once again, going to America and listen to everyone going, yeah. I know we're in LA, but at the same time, it's an international crowd, and he got people were really looking for him. So I want to see them do something with him. And any one of the two, these two are the rest. You know what this belt is? The Intercontinental title. And you know the Intercontinental title? That's the other world champion. Because I see Gunther as a world champion, not as an Intercontinental champion. I see this as the workhorse title, because you had the two best workhorse right now went for it.
Yeah.
And I want to see this as the wrestling belt, as the wrestling championship. And I want to have them two go for it. Because I would love.
It's funny you say that. You notice those belts look very alike almost. The Intercontinental and the World Heavyweight title, they've got that same globe in the middle and all that.
So yeah, what I'm looking at right now is I don't want to open challenge thing again because it's been done, but I want something like that where Seth goes up against a bunch of new NXT guys or just wrestlers that didn't get the chance, or make him say stuff like, I'm going against people that didn't get the chance, that Vince McMahon don't want to push. Make it a big deal. Make it a big deal of Vince McMahon don't want this person. Give Mustafa Ali a title. He doesn't have time, but give him a chance. Give them a chance.
You know what you do to make that actually brilliant then, right? You make the Intercontinental title like the belt you can cash in to go for the World Heavyweight Championship, right? Because when
you've already got a briefcase for that, man.
Yeah, that's the
thing. I know you got a briefcase for that, but what I mean is, if the briefcase is gone, you've got to wait a whole year before you go for that again. With the Intercontinental title, as soon as that belt is cashed in to go for the world title, it automatically creates a tournament or
Can I be honest?
That's TNA Impact.
I know it.
That's thing, but that's instantly people from my generation and stuff like that, or people start bringing it up. WWE can't be copying other stuff like that.
Even if they did.
But then saying that, TNA had their own Money in the Bank match as well, where there were like several suitcases. Was it Feast or Fired?
Yeah,
Feast or Fired, which is a totally different thing from Money in the Bank, and Money in the Bank came first.
And not just that, I'll be honest, TNA done some weird stuff. Who goes for a ladder and puts the belt on the ring just to unhook it and say, hey, I'm the champ once again? Like, they've got some weird ways. Also, I wouldn't want to see it. I see what you're saying, Leon. It's it can happen at any moment, but I feel like you're delegitimizing a title that you've got by doing it.
Yes.
I'm just using it as a cash-in opportunity.
What they could do...
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I do this a lot. I interrupt, and I got called out that I do interrupt. My apologies, everyone.
You're good.
If you want to hear what AJ was saying, let him finish right now.
No, I'm just saying the thing of like this whole run. Like, could you imagine? We're like, how can Gunther surpass the Honky Tonk Man? And then we're like, okay, he's surpassed it by a day. Oh, by the way, hey Seth, I'm catching in this belt. You've just made the belt look irrelevant. That whole run of defending it instantly becomes nothing. So I personally like each title to have their own separate legacy.
What would you say is worse then, right? Two champions fighting each other where like someone doesn't get a title shot because two champions are facing each other, or I mean, what other concept could you have if you can't have a captain?
Easy. I would love for Gunther to say, I've beaten everyone. I want that belt as well. And then he can go for the title, go for the match. But they go, you know what? Do Hogan versus Warrior. The Intercontinental Champion versus the World Heavyweight Champion, or whatever they call this new title.
Because that's not been done since then either.
Since then, have both of them go for it and actually title versus title. And that way, when the Intercontinental Champion wins, when it becomes Gunther and he does take the belt, not right now, but when Gunther does take that belt, then Gunther is now double champ, and then he can have another match, and because he's defending both of them so much, drop the Intercontinental title because he's over defending it, or he can't defend both titles because he's going so hard, and then that keeps him as a champion, and that keeps Roman and their story, the bloodline story, keep going and build to. Fingers crossed for everyone, still hoping that The Rock versus Roman does happen one day, and it could happen at the Mania coming up, but that happens. The title doesn't need to be involved, but can have it there.
My thing behind that, I think if you were to give, I mean, Gunther we're coming up to shortly, but if you do that joint title situation, it's going to look like you're trying to recreate what Roman had. No matter which way you do it, it's too close.
If you're going for the title, but if you win, you have to give up the Intercontinental title. He doesn't want to give it up. No, I know it sounds very similar to what Leon said. He's not cashing it in. He's risking.
No, I'll tell you why I don't like that, because
Go ahead.
Keith Lee done it on NXT, and I thought it was the most stupid thing I ever saw. He took on Adam Cole, and it was the big thing. It's the North American champ versus the NXT champ. They done it. The next night he's there without even having a single title defense. It's like, well, I've climbed the ladder. You know, Keith Lee, very, very much a gentleman when he talks. I've climbed the ladder here at NXT, and I've done everything, and I have both titles. But I must now give this one up. It feels weak. That hype that you've got of champ versus champ and becoming what it is, it just diminishes. It just makes the other title. Yes, you get a great tournament to crown someone, but you've just demoted that title. That whole double champ moment, that champ versus champ moment.
It really is a demoted. It's a lower. It is a lower. The Intercontinental title is a lower belt.
It is. It is. I don't say no.
It's a lower belt.
Drop it.
I think the
give
only
it
way
up.
that would work. The only way that would work is if only one of the belts were on the line. If it's a champion versus champion thing, then it would only work if one of the belts are on the line. Because I think that's probably why they've kept it like this all this time. Because they'll do the champion versus champion. They'll give you the potential, like you could walk away with 2 titles, but it never happens. And I think that's as far as they're going to go in terms of the Intercontinental title and the World title. And the reason because of that is what you said, AJ. They've done it already with Roman, or they've got it already with Roman.
Okay, let's keep it moving, because we're doing a bit of a what's next. But these are debate shows, guys. Look out for the ministry debate shows, because this is how they come.
And I'm a master at them.
Yo. Fucking up. That's the joke I always run on people. Right, okay. Here we go. Becky Lynch versus Trish. Well, Becky and Trish. What comes next for these two ladies?
They have a rematch. I'm going to say that for everyone.
I believe it's Becky hunting. I think we kind of said it before, but it's Becky now hunting Zoe Stark while still trying to get her hands on Trish. Trish is always pushing Zoe further, and this is just making this girl a star, especially if Trish costs Becky the match. It leads to Becky finally getting her hands on Trish at SummerSlam. I didn't think Trish... Do you know what really excited me about this all as well? With Trish winning that match, the teenager in me said, does that mean I get to see Trish at Money in the Bank? Like, she's still here. I was like, she's still here. And that was something. I was like, I can't remember if I saw her live. It would be good to...
I haven't.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry to say, it won't be one of the old school Vincent McMahon women's title match. It'll be a wrestling match.
Yeah.
There will be no mud. There will be no gels. There will be no lube. And there will be no evening gowns.
No. This is...
I think this will be a situation where, in order for that rivalry to be that heated, obviously Zoe is going to be the ultimate winner out of all of this, is because she's going to be booked to win and to win strong. Whether she wins by hook or crook, nefarious means, or whatever it is,
big times
she's going to be booked. She's going to be booked to win. So if if Becky's going to be on another one of those things where, you know, she's on the losing streak again, that's going to be the reason, and Zoe's going to be the reason for that through Trish. But then Becky could be returning the favor, making Trish either look embarrassed, getting jumped backstage, or if she does have a couple more matches, she loses them, which causes them to come to a head. And it will probably be a steel cage match or a Hell in a Cell match as well, because it's now becoming that kind of rivalry where they can't stand each other that much. It now has to be Hell in a Cell where no one can get in, no one can get out, which means Zoe can't get in, and it's gonna lead to that. And I think
do you want to see how this is gonna end? Do you want to see how this is gonna go? 7 matches. You're gonna have, what's the name of the person that's getting pushed the other
Zoe
lady,
Stark. Zoe Stark.
Zoe. So Zoe Stark is going to be Zoe gonna have a match with Trish in her corner. Then Trish is gonna make sure loses. Then she's gonna have someone. Becky's gonna have someone with her to be her friend. There's gonna be a tag. Then there's gonna be a tag team match. Then it's gonna be if Stark loses, I get to get my hand on
you, yeah,
on you, and then that's the final blow off match. So this one match is gonna spin off into 1, 2, 3, 4, around 5 more matches. With the last one, Trish losing and going back home and to be a mom and chill, and having a run in WWE once again, and doing the shows and giving the fans what they want to see. And Becky is going to be the one to help her there. It's just Becky isn't the star Becky was.
Ooh.
I'm sorry. There's someone named Rhea Ripley. That's the star.
Can I be honest? I and this is me being someone slightly on the outside because my wrestling had kind of slowed down. I believe Becky kind of felt the curse of winning the title at WrestleMania. And it sounds mad to say this. I felt she became Becky 2 belts and it became a bit weird. Then she had the Raw title, but being the man at that time, it wasn't as hype as what it was in her chasing the title as being the underdog that was held back. She was still big. She was still the biggest thing in there. She had moments with Austin. She had moments with Cena, but it was a fading start. It wasn't as crashing as Daniel Bryan was when he won, but it wasn't as big. And she's managed to stay consistent, but being the man wasn't as much as the big. There was no feuds enough there for the man.
I give it where it started to fail, where they stopped listening to the audience, and Becky came back, was a heel, and the crowd wanted to cheer her, and they did everything to make everyone boo her. And then just when everyone decided to think, well, I guess you're a heel, let's start to boo you now, they went, oh, people are cheering her, we should turn her face. And they turned her face, then it was like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, the big time Bex part could have continued, and that would have been a gatekeeper. She could have been a gatekeeper in a different way, you know. The only unified women's champ that we've had.
It's like they're pushing when they push what's her name, Ric Flair's Charlotte Flair. When they push Charlotte, whenever Charlotte have a match and they come back and go, "You're a face." No, you're not. You're the best heel. Be a heel. They did it with Bayley. Bayley did amazing to become a heel, but was a face, like one of the hottest face out there. You had Sami Zayn, one of the best face, and they went, be a heel. He did a good job as a heel, but he's naturally a baby face. You got those people like Randy Orton. What is Randy Orton?
He's the biggest
heel. Heel, but they go be a face. Can do it, but better as a face.
Do you know
better as a heel.
It's so much so. He's so much of a heel. So much of a heel that as much as we love seeing him smile, as much as we loved seeing RK Bro, you're like, he's going to give him an RKO. Every match, he's going to betray him. He's going to betray him because he's that much of a heel. It's weird to see him be good for so long.
But bringing it back to Trish and the dynamics of Trish being the heel who has been a face for so long, and yes, has been a heel. Everyone keeps talking about like she's never been a heel before. Been a heel.
Started off as a heel.
Started as a heel. Came out and picked a tag team and was the leader of TNA. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Tested out.
Turned on Chris Jericho and got a Christian.
Yeah, did all of that. Proper heelish. But you have Becky, who I haven't watched the product. I haven't heard nothing about. I haven't been hearing about Becky in the wrestling news world. I've been hearing about Asuka. I've been hearing about Belair. I've been hearing about Rhea. Not so much about Bayley.
Becky for most of her career. That was her first heel turn. She's been a face all the other times.
She's someone that you want to cheer for, but they pushed her as I said before, they pushed her, you're a heel now. Okay, I will go be a heel. I'm becoming a heel. Now you're a face. Give me a chance to stay a heel. Okay, you're a face. I'm going to wait for it and watch it, and they're going to slowly watch a change position, and then Becky becomes the friggin' the heel,
Yeah.
and then Trish becomes the face by the end of the feud. I'm
It's not
sorry,
out of
they're
the
just
question. It's not out of the question. But going back to what you said about the tag moment there, then it would be interesting if one of the other call-ups becomes the person who runs down to help Becky, and that establishes someone. It'll be slightly slower because Becky is the focal point for Starks, but you know that person has an intertwined history and will come back for her, because when you've got the SummerSlam moment, those two can be a mid-card match that is still involved in the story, even if it happens on the Raw before. It all leads to. So
yeah,
I like that
and
call.
and you're going from
who that
2
person
stars to 4. You're making 2 other stars, so that's going to be 2 up and coming stars being brought up by these 2 veterans now.
I'm gonna make a call on that then, because AJ, you just made me realize something. So if Trish is with Zoe, then the perfect person to run out for Becky in order to start that new blood rivalry with Zoe, the perfect person, Indy Hartwell.
I had a feeling you were going to go there, but I think the way is a thing now. So and this actually is linked so perfectly, Leon. I'm going to segue it so perfectly, because the Way have kind of lost their way. The Way were huge in NXT.
Yeah.
They've been kind of boring. Now this is Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, Indy Hartwell, Dexter Loomis, and I can't remember.
You're saying
What's Johnny's wife called? Candice LeRae. There we go. That was the one.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah. Now,
yeah.
If you have Indy Hartwell be that person and that goes for the feud, would it help that Becky becomes kind of friends with the Way? And that re-elevates Johnny Gargano, because Johnny's not been as big as Johnny previously was. How about he takes on this man for the Intercontinental title, and that becomes a bit of a feud? That elevates, because I think Johnny needs that shout. Let's be honest. When I call it, you said it already. Ali's now gone to NXT. Let him do something there. Let him be someone there. He looked kind of badass coming out from the crowd in NXT when I saw that video this morning. But who's next for Gunther? I don't see Johnny. It would actually be pretty cool if Johnny beat him, stopped him in his tracks while he's on this insane run.
Wasn't he backstage? Is it Gargano? Wasn't he backstage at Raw?
Was he? I don't know. I've not watched Raw.
No, you wouldn't have seen him. I'm talking about wrestling news. One of them, is it Gargano or the other one? I can't remember the name.
Oh, Ciampa.
No, it's Gargano, not Ciampa. Gargano was backstage at Raw, and then script got changed by someone who was not at the venue and didn't come out. But as you were saying there, that would actually be good, because you know what they're doing right there? They're making one storyline linked to another storyline without have to cross across. So that, think of the old school days where everyone had a storyline. Everyone had a storyline, and every storyline was linked to the overall storyline. So there was
you re-establish like face and heels, because the faces get on, the heels get on. It sounds stupid, but it builds the foundations of the company.
This is why I said Indy Hartwell, because her and Zoe did have NXT title beef before they got drafted to the same show. So that would be interesting, because it would be a continuation of their rivalry from NXT.
I like that. Oh, didn't even realize it was that tightly knit. I did not realize it would be that tightly knit.
And do you know what they could start doing from that point? Recognizing NXT as a third brand.
Thank you.
And not.
But here we go. And let's be honest, the face of NXT. I mean, Gunther and Gargano had Gunther's the longest reigning. Well, the fucking title's gone. Excuse me, it's in French. But the NXT UK title's gone. I'm not sure if Gargano and Walter had a feud, but that's something in itself. Like 2 NXT stars clashing each other on a main card. Now we're building stars again.
Give people a reason to watch NXT. Again, because NXT was a big thing. People used to watch all those shows. They watched it more than the WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And then it went to this 2.0 colorful, bright thing, and everyone's like, screw you, I'm gone. And then they went, we're going to go back. And it's like, nope, you burnt me once, I'm not coming back to you. Give them a reason to come back. So yeah,
If
Yeah.
they can make a star out of Kevin Owens because he came from there and beat John Cena, if
he
you can
came
make
from
stars,
there, held the NXT title, throw
right,
the US title on the floor, and stepped on
and
it.
stepped on it. Exactly.
Stepped on it and held his belt above them and go, oh my
And that
god.
has got to be one of the only few times where they actually promoted the NXT division, let alone the title. We
And
need more of that. We need more of that.
Sami Zayn coming out actually when he was in good shape, so good that he threw his shoulder into the audience. He's saying,
His entire ass. Yeah.
oh, tried to put it back in, and wrestler ripping good match with one arm. And so it just, wow, the days when NXT was big, and I don't want to go on the case of bringing back the old school times. Just
Ooh.
it was big because it had this long form storytelling. Think of it what's all again right now, the Bloodline as the storytelling going on right now in WWE. They did it with back then with Ciampa and Gargano. That story, yes, it was long because there was a lot of injuries happening, but it was still maintaining the story. They're doing right now with a story with Becky Lynch, and the story is happening there. It's not just we need another women's match on there. You and you have a match. It was, we're gonna have a tag team match. We're now tag team champions. We need a help. Oh, Lita's got a friend from back in the days. She come out to help, and the story just grew and grew and grew. And now we're developing a story that we hope might happen, where it grows to bring in some other people into the story, and then they can go off and do their own thing.
Yeah.
And that story is happening without. After it, just we need a starting point. We need the fire is going on here. Just put a lot of fluid in there and put it over here. Put that in there. Put that in there. And AJ brought another one in by linking in this group with that group, and then boom, it just grows, and it's a soap opera. I watch wrestling. This was my EastEnders. I kept telling people that this is my EastEnders. Every single time when JR was screaming, "Oh my God, look what's happening!" It's my doom, 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 doom. Yeah, it's my doof moment. Yep.
Yeah.
And if the American fans don't know what that means, let me think. What's on? Man, it's my
Concept
doof.
You need to Google a doof. You need to Google EastEnders doof. It sounds stupid, but it's the way you end the show. It's a cliffhanger to one of the greatest UK soaps. It's just the way it is. Yeah.
Cool.
You're my mother, not my sister.
What?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God, Sandra. What? I'm so sorry. Doom, doom, doom. It's literally what actors want. They want to go out like, did you have a doof moment? And he says, yeah, I got one, you know. Oh shit.
I've had 12 doof. It's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah.
Listen, when those actors got told, that they were getting the doof, that was the equivalent of Triple H telling someone, right, tonight you're becoming WWE champion or Intercontinental champion.
Yeah.
Literally.
What? I'm getting it tonight. Doom, 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 doom.
Huh?
All right, so AJ has he's back. Cool. Have you got any more feature?
Oh, sorry, wait, we were talking about what happens next, right? And then I obviously saw Ali and Gunther.
Ooh,
Well, I
I'm
gave
so sorry.
spoiler about Ali because he's in NXT. He showed up on NXT yesterday, and I think somewhere down the line he's going to end up facing Wes to compete for the North American title. As for Gunther, I'm trying to remember the new roster because I was just about to say him and Bobby Lashley would be interesting, but Bobby Lashley's on SmackDown, so that ain't going to happen. However, there are going to be hopefully there's going to be a few more interesting opponents for Gunther, whether we're made to believe that they have the potential of winning or actually winning, it's going to be very interesting. I personally thought that they were going to take Jade's undefeated streak to 100. They didn't. So who's to say that they decide?
Spoiler.
Someone's going to be Gunther for the title. But if it is, just please let it be someone who's going to have a good run. Right.
We
If
don't
they're not going
want.
to have a good run, I don't see the point in Gunther losing the title. Keep it on him and let him keep having great matches because he'll bring up whoever his opponent is. Just like how you said then, whenever they're around certain people, whether they fight with them or not, they end up being that much greater.
Is it rising tides raise all ships?
Quote to Double V. Okay. Here we go.
No.
He
Not
said it on
quoting
the
that
show.
person.
I know it's an old school saying. I'm saying he said it on the show more than anyone else.
Okay, didn't know that. I'm saying a saying that's a real saying that everyone's been saying
he did
for
not invent
years.
it. There is no way I was ever crediting him for inventing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Coincidentally. Talking of, I'm going to skip the card because Raising Tides and all ships. Let's talk about the boat, the best of all time, Natalya and Rhea Ripley. I know I skipped it, but I just saw a segue.
I'm not going to mention Natalya. I'm going to keep on Ripley. Rhea is so over. Like, I'm watching it thinking Rhea's keep getting over. She's getting like Dominic to the point of, ready for it now? I want them to do what they did when the first women Money in the Bank title and Santino is the one that took it off and throw it down. I want it the other way around. I want Rhea Ripley to get it off the title and throw it down for Dominic.
He really threw it down and gave it to Carmella.
But I want Rhea Ripley to be the one to climb the ladder, get the title, and throw it down to Dominic. I want...
The ministry officially endorsed Dominic Mysterio as the Money in the Bank winner. It happens every episode.
Someone else said that.
I think not in that way, but I think Nick and Den have said Dominic to win the Money in the Bank. But
come on, man! Can you imagine? A heel should have that briefcase, and can you imagine not just a heel, but a cowardly prick of a heel that you shouldn't be cheering for
Can we be honest?
to walk
There's
around?
no bigger heel in WWE.
You know
yes,
something?
he's doing what he's doing, but no one gets booed more. Like, you know, like Vicky's theme song was "Excuse me," followed by boos.
Yeah.
Dominic just stands there and smiles. And I always say it, guys. There was a non-published episode, and I wish Nick has the footage somewhere, where I was like, "Kid, you haven't earned the Mysterio name. Not only has he earned the Mysterio name, he has earned the Guerrero name, and more importantly, because the Mysterio name is so affiliated to Ray and Ray Jr., who was now Ray Sr., I don't even want him to dream of big. You know, everyone was, he's going to become the next Rey Mysterio. The name Dominic has become so powerful.
He's got his own name, and it's Dominic.
Yeah. It's not the next Rey Mysterio. He is the first Dominic Mysterio, and that's why
it's so powerful. Yeah, you've got wrestlers in other divisions mentioning your name. That's enough.
Yeah. Coming out, making a song. What they call it again? Them two rappers, the rapper guys.
The Acclaim.
The Acclaim made a rap about it beat, Buddy Murphy, who's with Rhea in real life. Yeah. So it's like, and I love Rhea's responding online. Yo, Dom, we so big they can't even stop talking about us over there.
That's how you make stuff interesting. And the next thing for Rhea, you know what? I can see her doing a China and going on and starting to actually face men. Because let's be real, who's a threat for Rhea Ripley right now for that SmackDown Women's title? Nobody.
What's her name again? The one that just lost her title.
Bianca.
This
is what I was going to say. Let's be honest. We've talked about titles going home. I don't know if it's time because it would be very stupid for Rhea to lose just yet because she is one of the hottest products. However, the SmackDown Women's title is on Raw. Bianca Belair is a SmackDown superstar. Now, before we just do the usual, let's swap belts, let's have people from that division running over to the other show to try and bring the title back home. That's what I think would be.
Yeah.
I don't want. You know what? Let's link it because it is kind of that in that story. I don't want to see Asuka Bianca Part 2. I definitely don't want to see Natalya Rhea Part 2. Actually, I would just so she could outdo the time that she had because that was really bad.
Right.
But Let's see
So
people from the other show running over to try and bring that title back, not just this Clash of Champs. That would be
first
interesting.
off, I want to apologize to everyone that's watching AJ on his potato. At least you can hear his voice very well. He needs to recharge his potato, and then we'd be great on visuals. But right now, got a good shot of that lovely beard, frozen lovely.
No way. Can you hear me now?
No, can hear you loud and clear.
You
Your
can hear
image
me,
is
but
just
the
your
image is
image is
frozen.
frozen in a wonderful position. It's just the fact that it looks like a potato. You know, the potato that flew around my room. But it is what it is because we can still hear the lovely voice of AJ.
Thank you, man.
I'm with AJ still. Right.
Thank you, bro.
Um,
Yeah, you're cool.
I'm going with what's it called? The actual one out of all three of us that really watches wrestling hardcore. What do you see happening coming forwards with Rhea? Going forwards, Rhea.
You know what? I don't think I could put anything else on top of what the both of you have already mentioned. The only thing I see, or the only thing I mentioned, is her fighting men. But now I don't see that. Now that you've mentioned Bianca Belair, that's literally probably going to be the next rivalry. You said that you wasn't going to mention Natalia. I have 3 letters for her, and that's NXT. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. But as for Rhea, she's definitely got bigger things coming up. And you know what? That rivalry with Bianca could go on beyond SummerSlam if they really do it right.
Look, you have what's her name? Io Sky, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Sky.
Io Sky. Can you imagine Io versus thing, just the big strength? No, Oscar. Yeah, that would be wonderful. But let's go with Io versus what's her name? Because we're talking about Rhea. So Rhea Ripley, big. Io small but flippy and fast. She can get thrown around and she can do some moves and they can make it look so good. It could be a spot fest and it could be a wrestling match.
Definitely.
So, just for do I need to refresh or am I still hitting?
You came back and then you're frozen again. Now you look confused. No. It's all good. You sound good nonetheless. Look, right now we can all see the footage, but there's people that listen to the podcast can hear it loud and clear, and they don't know what if I'm frozen.
That's the benefit.
There you go. Okay. So yeah, Rhea right now, I don't know the women's division. I don't know the men's division, but the women's division I know less. But from what you lot are saying, there's a bunch of wrestlers there that are what's her name? Right now she's feuding with damn it, my brain got shut down. The man, Becky Lynch. Right now she's feuding with someone else. But Becky could come back out there and decide to go for a title. SummerSlam's not that far away. That happens, her storyline with things finish, move on, then she can start coming for the belt.
Fact.
You know what?
What's it called could come back out again? Flair could come back. Flair could do a thing of just turning back up again. And this time it's Flair versus Asuka. And Asuka can finally get a flipping comeuppance against Flair.
Needs to be done.
Who can't Asuka beat Flair? And it could happen of Asuka being dominant and then, yeah. But the problem is Flair's a natural heel.
The reason why I said I saw Rhea fighting men is because how long can you do a natural rivalry for? I said it could go beyond SummerSlam, but that's just our wishful blocking. Are they actually going to do that? I don't know.
How long can the Bloodline storyline last?
But what I can see is, because they've already teased it a couple of times, especially recently with Solo, is her facing up with men. And I can see her. Even if it's a fact of keeping the title on her and there's no one else left for her to face, and she uses that as a monologue. There's no more women, I might as well fight the men, sort of thing. I can see that happening somewhere down there.
She can fight the man, but what man do you want to see fight her? You don't want to watch these young boys watching this wrestling product that's made for entertainment purposes, watching a woman getting beat up by a man. And if she just goes out there and dominate the man, it's just a guy getting dominated. But if it happens regular, it look.
I heard this report that apparently they're trying to appeal to the older crowd again, the older demographic.
I don't want to see it.
Even with that, I do not want to see.
They keep talking about. No, I'm not saying that I'm wishing for it to happen. I'm saying
I know.
They're changing the ratings, so they're going back to the PG. Was it 14 or whatever it is? TV 14, whatever it is. And they're going to be appealing to the adult demographic again. Now, I mentioned Rhea facing men. Now, if that's going to happen, she's done it before. She did it with. All right, I know it was pretty much a no-brainer. But when she fought that ninja guy, what's his name again?
Akira Tozawa.
24/7, yeah. Basically, she just basically ran right through him.
Yeah.
But you're proving Den's point. You don't want to see a guy.
You can see her fighting against a guy and dominating and winning. And the crowd would cheer, and I'll be like, yay, she looks so much stronger. The second she goes for a move and that guy lays one clothesline on her, it stops being a yay to being a, oh my God.
Let's be honest, there's a limit to that. Now,
the case
you saying I'm tired of fighting the women, it's time for me to take on the men, diminishes the women's product because there are so many. And also, her going over into the men's division also has a limit. Yeah, she's taken out Johnny Gargano. Yeah, she's taken out Austin Theory. She's not going to step up to Roman Reigns. She's not going to take on Brock Lesnar.
Oh, do you know what I mean? To give her a one chop, and that's it.
Yeah, you don't want to see Rhea go to Suplex City.
The reason why I say that is because, yeah, all right, maybe it is mirroring.
And once again,
too much. But I was looking at someone like Austin Theory and thinking, you know what? She could actually have. Even if it's just a one-off, I could see her having the balls of actually saying that she wants to go for the US title and that sort of thing.
But at what end? At the same time, and then takes on who?
I can see I can see the pros and cons of that as well.
Also, little kids watch, no matter how much they say PG 30, whatever the rating they want to go for. Little kids are watching that and they're seeing this guy beating up this woman, and then they're gonna go to school and see another girl, and then they beat up the girl, and they saw it on WWE, and WWE's got in shit. Back in the days when they did that, they did it for shock value, for you to be able to go and talk about it, and it was just the biggest one ever was Stone Cold wailing on the Hardys and then wailing on Lita, and that was because the crowd wouldn't stop cheering Austin, and they did everything to make him a woman beater. And the problem with that though is some people still like that and they really rewatch it and stuff like that, but you can't do that in this age. You really can't. But it's not about that. You said your point and you retracted. You retracted that statement, and it is what it is. If they do decide to go that way, let's see how long it lasts for, if they ever do that. But I can't see them ever. It's like chair shots to the heads. That's what it's like.
I think you got more chance when a chair shot come back because you could.
I never want to see chair shot to the head ever again.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Knowing what we know now, would you want to see someone to get smacked in their head with CTC going on? Would you want to see a man pick up a woman and suplex it? Even when China was fighting men, China was a dominant one in the fight. And if you think about how many men China fought, she didn't fight that much. She was with Jericho,
Eddie, and Hardcore Holly.
That's it.
Yeah.
And Holly was the only one that took advantage of her. Everyone else didn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting point. Are we going through to Bianca and Asuka, or have we covered the women's division? Not that we should have generalized.
We've covered the women's. I'm sorry to generalize it like that, but
it
shouldn't be too. I already said it before. You need to just, before you make it into so big that you need to have two titles, bring it all together, make it one tag team champion, one champion for the entire women's division.
I said, right, that there should only be one tag team. Obviously, the mid card title. You're gonna have either or either. So you're either gonna have the US title on Raw or SmackDown, or the Intercontinental title on Raw or SmackDown. But the world title, have one. Tag team title, have one. Women's title, have one. And then whoever that person is has the option to go on all of the shows. And they're currently doing that with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens right now. So why can't they do that with the aforementioned titles?
Yes, and we can have so much more. Like it would just, and then once again, once you get enough female talents that you're like, there's too many of them to give only one title, then bring in another title. But if you bring it, just not because the man's got that, don't mean the women have to have it. The man had one title for years, and he had to work up to become the one wrestling title, then the lower card title, and then it becomes so many men in the division that they have two titles now. Same thing they should do for the women's. And the thing is, they can focus the product so much more that way instead of it just being a blast of everything. It should be focused to be that's your champion, that's your lower card champion, those are your tag team champions, and everyone else are going for that part, and everyone can have storylines in between.
Yeah.
It used to be like that before, right? And it was perfect because that way the rotation of the roster is a whole lot healthier. So for a couple of pay-per-views, you've got AJ Styles from SmackDown facing Roman Reigns. Next pay-per-view, you've got, someone else from Raw, like Seth Rollins or someone else going for the title. And it just rotates and it just rotates and it just rotates. Occasionally, you might get someone who's invaded Raw or SmackDown from either show, and they're going for the mid-card titles. Like, you see what I'm saying? So Bobby Lashley goes back to Raw, invades it because he wants to go at Gunther, and someone from Raw goes on to SmackDown because they want to take on it. It just makes rivalries. It makes television stories. It makes the roster a whole lot healthier.
You ready for something else? You ready for something else? You know, like on Raw, there's 3 hours. Mm-hmm. Give 1 hour to the women's division. 100%. And when I mean 1 hour, you don't have to go, here's the first hour. Spread it out. Just note that in the overall of the night, like the overall of the 3 hours, a third of it is dedicated to women division. Really, it could just be promos. It could be 2 matches, whatever it is. But 1 hour is dedicated to them. And if they're doing better in the ratings, if you see people are watching more of that, then give them a little bit more. So they could have an hour and a half and equal. And sort of, then the man could see that and go, oh my God, the women are trying to dominate us. And let's not want to make it a rivalry between them, but everyone would just step up.
Can I be honest?
Out of that, you could get two main event women. You could get 2 main event women matches from that, a promo and a setup, giving them that extra hour as well. That's well said there.
One of the things I really liked, I think I kind of mentioned it in the prediction show, I was very happy that out of 7 matches, 3 of them were women's matches for Night of Champions.
Beautiful.
That is something that was worth noting.
Beautiful. And the thing is, 2 of them were amazing.
Yep.
There we go. Indeed. Right. Let's move on. I'm gonna call on this one first, right? We're talking Brock and Cody. He's literally the word beast and monster gets thrown around so casually. It's so realistic when it's Brock Lesnar. Like it's just who he is. Dan, you called it when it comes to Brock. Brock is a gatekeeper. Now these guys obviously will have a finalizing match, and Cody will go over. And this is the problem in this situation. Everybody starts to lean on the Cody is buried. I believe Cody had a journey. Cody's journey got torn to pieces with his pectoral muscles. He came back. He was fit enough for Mania, and The Rock. I think Cody was probably always the go-to, and that was the journey. The Rock was a backup. If he can make it, we'll figure out something for Cody. That's the way it was going to go. Cody was fit enough in time, and Rock wasn't available for it. And that's when it became, well, let's throw him in at number 30. Keep him safe. Let's go. But there wasn't a journey. It's, I've beat Seth Rollins. I've won the Rumble. I'm here for a title. When everyone was looking at Sami Zayn should be going to Mania. Do you remember that was the conversation? Sami should be going to Mania because he's the biggest nemesis. The story all makes sense. Cody weaved himself in beautifully to be a contender. And as everyone's like, it became complete the story. And that's what everyone's new hashtag is, Like red flag is a new thing. Complete the story became a new thing. He hasn't completed the story. Oh, he's being punished. Where has this man been punished? He is in one of 3 main events. They published it that far. You could have been like 2 main events, the champ is going for, can he become Roman 4 belts, and the other champ. No. This, with no number 1 contender spot in the line, was a main event in a card. He is also the biggest face for the company. Yeah, people are humming Seth. Cody's sales are insane at the moment. They have adverts going out for the guy. You don't build a guy that way. You don't have him screw. Like, you could have taken him to town. You could have taken him to town the first time with Brock. Now you can tell me he's being buried. This is building. Now everyone is like, and I said it and I'll say it again. He is the one to go for. I'm going to give it his credit, the world title. No. This build, he will stay on Raw. People are waiting for it. When's Cody going to get his chance? When Cody's going to get his chance? I believe he's going to win the Rumble for a second time. And he will call out Roman for a second time and complete his story there. He's going to get the WWE title. He will not get the other title. It's a part of a long build. This guy's not being punished.
Right. I'm not. I went with the punish line. Oops. Sorry. I went with the punish line because that's what everyone's going with. But for real, going back to what I've seen y'all do this before, and I've heard Nico say it on this podcast before, I'm going to say it as the other guy that was at Mania. It sucked the vibe out of Mania. And I know it's just Mania at that point, but I mean, night 1, it all finished and everyone's going home, whoa, singing that. The next day, silence, and everyone just wants to get the fuck out of that place. And you felt like shit, and everyone just wanted to get to their hotel and like, what the hell is this? And it was like, all right, cool. We said after Mania, Triple H is going to take over, and let's see what Triple H does. Okay, that's happened. That's how it was. Let's see what's happened now. And then it was a case of, okay, Vince is back in power. Oh, what the hell's going on? So that make everyone nervous. And then on Raw, he got beat. He got squashed at in Raw, and he was nothing on Raw. So that happened. Come to the first pay-per-view with Brock. He won. But did he win? He didn't win strong. He didn't win weak. He got his ass whooped and won luckily.
But can I ask you a question? Has anyone ever beat Brock, or does everyone survive Brock?
Yes, people have beaten Brock.
Yeah, people have beaten him.
Okay. Brock will give you everything. Brock is one of the best sellers in the business. Brock
gives... remember Goldberg at Survivor Series?
Brock make you... He made you believe that Daniel Bryan could win. He made you believe Ricochet could win. I know everyone said no, but when you watch the match, you're like, what the fuck? Like, he does stuff. But then in this one, you just think, oh, God, they're putting thing. And well, so when Cody overcomes Brock and finally defeats Brock and I've overcome him, who does he go for next? He goes for this person and overcomes that person, and he overcomes next. The story was written. Yes, he got hurt and it changed everything beforehand. The story was written, laid out, and there. They didn't complete it, but now it feels like they're in a stall pattern of like, right, we want Cody to win, but we can't have him win yet. Let's get his ass beat up so much. Biggest seller right now, you said merch. How long before people start just think of him as the guy that gets his ass whooped? Do you remember how everyone loved the Demon Finn Balor?
Yeah, no, I'll give you that.
Everyone loves these people. If you just keep losing, you're just nobody. You just become that at WrestleMania. Do you know why people love Roman Reigns? Because he just wins. That's the American thought. He just wins. This guy is the American nightmare. Yes, his neck has got this giant tattoo of American thing. And if he keeps losing, and even when he wins because he just about scrape it. People are going to stop caring. And when he finally gets the belt, everyone's going, oh, yeah, that. Go on, you get it. Go back to your company.
That part I agree with. One thing I'm going to ask you then, and you said the same thing I said, even though we were an ocean apart, right? That sucking of life, I believe you guys, everyone booked themselves into a corner because they were like, night one, everyone, it's the fall of the bloodline, it's going to go that way. However, what you said is exactly what I said. I believe, short of us who we were, being who we were that night, we were in that mode of Roman's going to retain. We were on that train. As much as it was like, it'd be nice for Drew, Roman retains. Walking out of Clash of the Castle was the same vibe. We were just smiling because we were arrogant pricks. But Cardiff was not smiling that night.
Oh,
Cardiff was not smiling that night.
oh, I get it. That's Cardiff. Who gives a crap about England and Cardiff? It's Wrestle Goddamn Mania.
Yeah,
What's
but
the
what
main
I'm
thing about
trying to get
WrestleMania?
at-
Send the crowd home happy.
But what I'm trying
Forget
to get at is it's happened a few times. Like I've never been to a Mania. Maybe you've been to one where the heel comes out on top at the end. I'm sure each time it sucks the life out of people because it's Mania, because it's meant to have a happy ending.
I give this Mania. The heel wins. Everyone feels that shit. Guess what the babyface does? The babyface hangs back and the heel goes away and the babyface does something. They don't sing a stupid song at the end like they did in Cardiff, but the babyface does something to lift the crowd up, or someone runs out and then the babyface just does a move to them, or in the case of Austin, they drink some beer and say to the crowd, I got my ass whooped, but you know what? I'm coming back for you. Hell yeah. Cody just walked up the ramp, head hung low, and walked away. And Cody was gone. And the Bloodline music played, and Roman looked around like, you thought I was going to lose? There were people that was there with the glove on that was cheering Roman, that when he won, did the reaction of, yay! Oh, okay. Oh, it literally felt like everyone cheered, and then the air left. That last cheer was the last cheer they had for the rest of wrestling. And it was like, oh, okay, so this is still going to happen. And Cody just lost. He just lost. It's not like there's losing and then there's losing. He lost and walked away just to experience that. And remember, when it goes off the air, like, oh, that's the end of the rope. It's just, thank you guys for coming out. Night. Like,
Yeah,
so
everyone's just
nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to make everyone happy, or someone go out, or Shane going to come out and rip another leg muscle. What the hell? It's just...
I get that. I get.
I guess I could mirror that with... That had to feel as bad as when Stone Cold turned on The Rock at WrestleMania 17 and joined with Vince McMahon.
I don't know. I think the crowd was so split. It would have been too many questions, but there were too many Rock fans as well as Austin fans in that one. So there were enough Austin fans cheering because there was that great split between those two. This one, the whole world was behind Cody.
Can you imagine they did the thing with Daniel Bryan? Can you imagine Daniel Bryan beating Triple H, get into the final three, and then Batista wins anyway? That's what it was. That's literally what it was.
Or when Daniel Bryan did that petition, gets to WrestleMania and loses.
That's
against
literally what
Triple H and Randy Orton.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. He beats Triple H, gets to the finals. It's the final triple threat match, and Batista pins
If Kofi Mania didn't happen, I would have been livid.
Can you imagine what the crowd would be like when they leave? There we go.
That's another tough one. That would have been tough.
That's what they did at this one. They built saying The Rock is gonna be there, so people bought tickets thinking The Rock is. They never officially said The Rock's gonna be there, but they did everything to promote The Rock, and everyone bought the tickets before they should promote any match because this is definitely gonna be The Rock versus Roman. Oh, it's not. It's gonna be Cody. Oh, they must be finishing the story with Cody. Oh my God, they're doing everything to promote the story with Cody and the Bloodline story carry on.
You know, I will say one thing though. I think one of the things that spoiled parts of WrestleMania as a whole is I think the whole sale thing or the whole merger then was a slight distraction. So that kind of destroyed everything.
Did you know about it from the second night?
Whether it was the outcome of the match or whether it was like whatever, like, do you know what I mean? Because obviously we were looking at points of, okay, what if it was a fact of Endeavor saying, oh, you know, we want Roman Reigns to remain champion as opposed to Cody getting it or something.
What scared people? Because Endeavor hadn't been mentioned, but what did happen is
they said Vince was at the
Yeah,
thing.
John Cena came to Raw, and Vince turned up because they're good friends. And he came to see Cena, but people are like, what's he doing back? And then following that, he was still around. And it's like he's at Mania, and then people are like, this is the first Mania without Vince. Is he going to turn up? Then it's like, Vince was at Gorilla, and they're like, what is he doing there?
Yeah.
He has no right being there. And then it's like, rumor has it that so by night 2, we were starting to think like, he's there. Is he going to show up? Are they going to acknowledge him? And then more and more. And then by the time Raw came out, it's like Vince is back in power. The whole world, yeah. But people were nervous. I will give Leon that. People were nervous.
I think it had a slight damper on the pay-per-view itself. And I don't know if those are the reasons why The Rock never came. We don't know. We won't ever know.
The
what
Rock
the
loves
actual
Vince,
truth is.
Yeah,
and nothing but respect for Vince.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think once the whole merger thing kind of dies down a little bit, then it will go back to being. Hopefully, it will go back to focusing on the wrestling itself, whether it's a storyline or whatever. I think but I think the whole sponsorship thing and the whole merger had probably a little part to play in the underwhelming expectations for WrestleMania.
And that's the thing. It's not about what's going again. We have to lower our expectations sometimes thinking about certain shows, but you don't understand. It's Wrestle Goddamn Mania.
Yeah. No,
that
I will agree.
It's meant to be things.
It's WrestleMania. You send your look when they came to what's it called again, the UK, and they had Bulldog versus Brett. Imagine Brett's a babyface that everyone love. Imagine Brett winning with the story they build. They build the story of Bulldog finally getting a chance to build up there, and then they go, right, Brett's still going over. Can you imagine that? Just imagine that feeling of you thinking they put everything to you and tell you this person's going to win, 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 and then go, they pull the rug from underneath us. That's what happens. So because of that is why people start saying about the burial of Cody Rhodes. And the thing was, that happened that night. And we were like, let's see what happens next. People actually said, let's see what happens next. Let's hopefully something happens. And yes, he has to do the redeeming things, which AJ said at the start of. He hasn't really done much. He tore his pec muscle and he was out for this long. So I guess they're doing a storyline of him coming up. The next night, all that happened, he just got his ass whooped on thing. And then they gave him the middle finger. He got his ass whooped. And once again, on that Raw, it finished on TV. That was the end of the show. Cody struggling to his feet and walking back up. Not setting the people unhappy.
I think this might be the problem when you have too many live or pay-per-view shows. You got like 7 different pay-per-views plus the main 4, right? You look at AEW, they don't have so many pay-per-views.
But they have matches like no one's business.
Look how great their shows are, when they come around.
Credit to Triple H, he's cut them down. It's not as many as it used to be.
Yeah, and if they cut it down a little bit more, then if they continue to cut it down or chop it wherever, hopefully it could become the better show. Because when you have all these shows, now it's like, what are you going to do for this show? What are you going to do for Backlash? What are you going to do for Money in the Bank? What are you going to do for Armageddon? What are you going to do for WrestleMania? What are you going to do for SummerSlam? What are you going to do for... Do you see what I'm saying?
I hear that. Just to be fair, I'll let you finish that point. But after that point, let's just talk what is next for Cody and Brock. But yeah,
I have been doing that. I've been
we just talked about like the effect of it and like the impact of like Endeavor and the rest.
But then that's when you cut down these. If you cut down these shows, then it kind of helps the product a little bit more. It helps the storyline a little bit more, even in terms of rivalries and everything else, and ideas as well. When you've got so many shows, now it's like, okay, you've run out of ideas, so we'll just run this out, and then we'll just run this out. We've got a couple of months to make it better. But then, when you think like that, what are we seeing on the other end? We're seeing poor matches, we're seeing poor results, we're seeing stuff where it's like, that doesn't even make sense.
You know what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about the Duff moment? This is what WWE is. It's a soap opera, but they fight. So storyline should be the storyline. In EastEnders, you have a storyline, the main storyline of this cause. That's the main thing everyone's talking about. Then you have the other storyline. You got a storyline about a guy selling his fruits on the side, but he's getting the fruits from this place or whatever it is. It's simple storyline. That's the lower card. No one cares about the storyline, but it's happening. There's another storyline where these kids are causing trouble and something big might happen, but it's linked to the top storyline. Then you have the main storyline, and it just keeps going and going. And some stories you repeat, some stories you don't, but it keeps going and going. Why can't WWE do that? Just write the stories and let the friggin' wrestlers tell it in the ring.
On that subject of you saying that, to answer AJ's question, we say what's next for Brock and what's next for Cody. What's next for both of them, I think, is the both of them. This is going to continue in another rivalry. And if it is, then there's no one else for them to fight between that. It's going to be them to, I don't know if it's going to be for the next month, for the next couple of weeks, or all the way to SummerSlam. But for right now, I just see them two having a very long storyline. Even if it's one more match, there's going to be a build for that one more match. I can't see anything for them. I can't see Cody going on to fight someone else. I can't see Brock going on to fight someone else. I just see them two fighting up until at least SummerSlam, and even then, I can't think what would be for each wrestler after that. The only thing I can say is that Cody will be more on a quest for a championship, and Brock will just be Brock and turn up when it's time to face someone in a potential match that will put bums in seats.
I see what's going again. Cody overcoming Brock, finding somebody else he has to overcome, and repeat at least 2 to 3 more times before he goes for a title that means something. The reason I say a title that means something, because he could win a title, but it just be a whatever title. He becomes a 24-hour title, whatever it is called. He becomes that 24/7 champion. I don't know. I'm just throwing whatever random shit out there. Right? He would bring it back. I don't know. Whatever. But they do stuff like that. Brock, I see Brock finishing this, finally getting beaten by Cody and taking a mini break and then popping up one day randomly out of nowhere to enter a big title match or a big feud, because Brock is money. Cody will become money, but he's not money right now. He is the guy that gets beaten.
If that's going to happen, Gunther will hold that Intercontinental title until Brock comes back.
I want Brock versus Gunther.
You can't have Brock fucking around with a mid-card title back. It's the minute he drops that title. I don't know.
It brings it. You can make not make what's called again him going to go against for the mid-card title. Make everyone keep saying Gunther could beat him, Gunther could beat him, Gunther could beat him, and that would eat at Brock. Brock go, I can kick that little motherfucker's ass. And then there you go, Gunther and Brock. I mean, that's all it takes.
They put the Intercontinental title on Ric Flair. Why? I don't know, because he doesn't need that title, but they still did it.
Yeah, but he was way past. I mean, even his heyday had heydays by the time he won that IC title. But they did the exact same thing with Roddy Piper actually with the US title. So I make it right actually. Yeah.
What I want those slaps versus the German suplex on a German Austrian. But, you know.
Austrian. Yeah, I know you're saying it's all the same to some people.
Well, one guy made it like you can't tell the difference. So,
not to mention, when was the last time 2 heavyweights went at it for a belt like the Intercontinental title?
Bobby Lashley versus Gunther.
I mean, fact. That is a fact. Yeah, good point. Right. Okay.
How long I
just said he buffered. It wasn't his internet connection. The man physically buffered.
Sorry, mate. I'm so sorry.
Right, let's go for the last guys on this card. The current tag team champ.
Oh, this is just everywhere. This goes everywhere.
Solo Roman, to take it wherever you want, whoever goes first. It's so chaotic. I'm not even putting a format or order in it. Run wild.
It goes anywhere, and wherever it goes, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly that. Exactly that. Everything that this involving everyone in it, it's just been good all the way through, start to finish. I don't think there's actually been one thing we've criticized about this whole thing from start to finish.
There was one thing I criticized one thing about it, which was it's still going on, and then it went on. I was like, oh, thank God it's still going on.
I was going to give the exact same answer. In the one where it first came out, that it looked like it was going to go down. I knew I was like, in the previous prediction show for Backlash, I remember saying, I know it's the Usos versus this and the other, and it's going to help progress the thing, but can we just let those guys be now? Can we just let it go? But it made so much more sense in having Roman go against the two guys he's beat, the guy who made these two best friends come back together into what they are and develop into it. And this is me saying all of this without seeing this match, but having small hints from what you guys said of this implosion. It has helped build the character. Each person has been built even more because of it. And that is what's absolutely insane. Me going from, oh, forget it, to Jimmy, you stepped up. Whoa, hold on. This is a development. What comes next?
What makes this brilliant as well is that they've planned all of this around things that were supposed to happen and didn't. So the fact that they've come up with this as a backup, it's absolutely amazing. It's the one good thing I can say I'm proud of in terms of what WWE have put out as a product.
It's not only that, it feels like, for instance, they are listening to the audience. So Sammy just start to hang around them lot. And then the audience is like, oh my gosh, Sammy's being funny. He's making it good. And they went with that. Oh my God, Sammy might turn on thing. And they went with it. This is the only storyline in WWE. They're listening to the fans and responded to the fans. People going, I want to see Jimmy fight Roman. It's like, what? No, that ain't going to happen. It's freaking happening. It's just, and it feels good because they're literally going with the crowd. You're cheering for that person, so we're going to make that person our face. We're booing that person should be a heel. Not pumping in fake crowd noises, which they've been doing again lately, and making it stupid. Just follow the goddamn fans and stop trying to tell us what to like. Let us tell you what we like.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say something where, as we said, anything and anything can happen. Leon said something about the Umaga 2.0. The same way I don't want to see Dominic become Ray 2.0 or Ray 3.0, as it were, by Legacy. I don't want... It kind of bugs me who he is already, but I like the fact that he's got the Samoan Spike. I like acknowledging he's past uncle. I wouldn't want to see him become champ. But what I would love, because we all know Roman's going to go into movies and do X, Y, Z. What I would love is, let's say Cody wins at SummerSlam from Roman. I don't know how he ends up on... He wins the briefcase at Money in the Bank. He cashes in on Roman at some point. He wins the title and completes the story. He goes off for his own moment. I would love to see Roman slap Solo or something, or blame Solo for it, and Solo just say, you know what? I'm not on it. Like, I'm not that Punk. And when he Samoan spikes Roman, I would love to see the look on Heyman's face, but Heyman looking at Solo and walking off with Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Leave Roman on the floor, bruised and battered, and this Samoan spike is what sent the tribal chief home. There is a new tribal chief. You don't even need to put Solo in that title, but having Heyman as his mouthpiece, like these monsters had, and he now goes on a rampage known as the man who stopped Roman, who got rid of Roman. Cody dethroned him, but Solo is the destroyer of the bloodline.
I've got another one. I've got how Cody's involved in this as well. Don't have Cody beating Roman yet. Have Roman lose his tribe. Have everyone turn on him. Have Roman being there, holding his belt, hugging both of them. I don't need you. I don't need any of you. I did this on my own. Before he has a match with Roman. I mean, with
like that
Cody.
bit, but my bit is okay. He could be the Mad King who just goes off into obscurity, but I can see something where
Oh yeah, let him get
Solo,
Spike.
yeah,
Let him get Spike by Solo.
gives
And
that spike, and that's what sends him home. That's where
Let-
Roman goes to
oh.
make movies, and he's off TV.
I see him getting Spike, getting left. Yeah, but that could work after he loses the title. Yeah, so you could go with year one. But
Yeah.
I would love to see a
But that's what I think,
unhinged
it's that you
Roman
get rid
on
of
his
them.
own, going, I don't need you lot, like getting paranoid and holding the belt like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Changing from right now, he's a manipulative, gaslighting prick.
Yeah,
Turn him into a coward that the only thing in his life is this damn belt, and the only thing is, I want to get another 1,000 days. I need another 1,000 days. Just become this guy living down in the basement, clipping toenails, pissing in jars. You know what I'm saying?
wow. Do you know what?
That's a real
Actually,
person.
or even in another way, as I've said before, because the last person to stand by him was the first person to stand by him, Paul Heyman. Imagine him locking Heyman in the guillotine. Like, you cost me this, you done that. And Solo is the one who frees Heyman with the spike.
Just think,
There are so many ways, but that's how the bloodline ends. Roman getting spiked.
think of this line with Heyman. When Heyman got held by Brock, and Heyman's going, "You're hurting me. You're hurting me, Brock." Yeah, that line when he's going, "You're hurting me, Brock." Just have him going, no, Machi, no. He's like, "Are you gonna leave me too? Are you gonna, wise man? Are you gonna leave me soon? Everyone else leave me. Are you gonna leave me? No, my tribal chief. What? Were you mocking me? No, my tribal chief. No." And just him slowly going mad and just flip out on Heyman, and that's it. The tribal chief is all alone. He has no one at his side.
He's a tribal chief with no tribe.
And then The Rock comes and help his cousin. Anyway, just joking. Sorry.
Oh shit!
I still want to see the heel Rock because I never watched Hollywood Rock. I wasn't watching wrestling then, so I never saw the heel Rock.
I loved
That
it.
heel.
I didn't see a lot of it, but I loved it. I loved it.
I saw all of it and I fucking loved it. That's my best version of The Rock, but only just because the Nation Rock was also fucking. Oh my god, that was. I would never forget that segment. Yeah, with China. Never. That was just so heelish. It was unbelievable.
Okay, guys. So you've had your what's next for Night of Champions. You've had your Night of Champ reviews. You've had your scores. The champ is still reigning and defended, and it looks like he might be on course to win it again. But yes, this has been the first ever Winners Circle. I am so sending for the other two with this. It is the Winners Circle review show. What were we reviewing? Night of what? Night of Champions. Right. So, yeah, this is the Night of Champions show. It will be split, guys. So you will have your What's Next show and your Night of Champions show. But thank you for joining us as usual at Ministry of Wrestling, at MOW News on Twitter. We are everywhere. Keep interacting with us. And do you know what? Time permitting, there are some great debates coming out from the Ministry of Wrestling. So until the next time, I am the one AJ Anthony Jordan.
I'm then the tech.
Reigning, defending, undisputed champ. The ultimate finesse of TV.
Nice one. Nice.
Get my belt back.
Right, guys. I'm just very conscious. I'm aware it's 2:00.
Do
you guys want
I
to
am
keep
not
going?
doing it tonight.